Hi, welcome back to another daily lore react. We're gonna react to this next one. Uh, so let's just get into the video.
No one, not even WhatsApp, can see your personal messages. So every sigh of relief stays private.
Just because I turn off auto rotate, so now I'm not sure if it actually shows up on recording. I'll find out.
My in-laws publicly ridiculed my cheap
I'm not gonna edit it, but I'm gonna find out if it did that.
homemade Christmas gifts while praising my
If it didn't, then obviously, like always, when I say stuff, it makes me look like I'm, sounding crazy. Obviously, that's because I thought I would actually rotate it, and sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. Like I think last video or a video before, it rotated on my screen, but it didn't rotate on the video, so I don't know.
sister-in-law's expensive presents. Yesterday they called begging for my handmade soap after discovering my hobby is actually a luxury brand sold in high-end stores. I sent them a gift basket of my products, with copies of the magazine that just featured me on the cover. I've always been crafty and creative, finding joy in making things with my hands. Long before I met my husband Mark, I'd been perfecting my skills at making natural skincare products. What started as a necessary solution to my own sensitive skin issues had evolved into a passion. By the time we got married 4 years ago, I had a small but growing handmade soap and skincare business that I ran from our spare bedroom. Mark always appreciated my creativity. He
Oh shit, sorry.
proudly used my products and bragged about them to friends. When we started dating, he thought it was amazing that I could transform simple ingredients into luxurious soaps, creams, and bath bombs. His support never wavered, even when my business was just breaking even. His family was another story entirely. From the beginning, Mark's parents and his sister Vanessa made it clear that they considered my handmade business a cute little hobby, nothing to be taken seriously. At family gatherings, they would ask patronizing questions like, "Still playing with your little soaps? Or wouldn't it be nice to get a real job someday?" Mark would defend me, but I urged him not to make waves. I figured they would eventually see the value in what I created. Last Christmas was when things came to a head.
The thing is, people won't see the value in something is probably due to their own reasoning, most likely. Either that or they just have something terrible going on in their life and they need to express it by, you know, tearing you down, I guess. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but sometimes that's usually it.
We had decided as a family to exchange gifts at his parents' lavish home. I had spent months carefully crafting personalized skincare sets for everyone. For his mother, I created an anti-aging facial set with rose and frankincense oils that I knew would complement her skin type. For his father, I made specialty shaving soaps and aftershave balms with sandalwood and cedar. For Vanessa and her husband, I created matching spa sets with stress-relieving lavender and chamomile.
Okay, so everything she's saying, she can charge a lot of money for this shit. Like, my god, this shit would be expensive. Like, if you truly think about it, everything she just said on the market, if you actually look at it, because all that stuff does exist on the market, I don't think it exists in together, but everything exists out there. You could search it up, see how much it is to craft, and obviously it will be expensive. So I'm assuming everything she just said is between around $100 to like $600. That is a lot of money for skincare. My God.
Meal. I packaged everything beautifully in handmade paper with dried flowers and personalized notes explaining the benefits of each product and how I had specifically formulated them with the recipient in mind. The ingredients were premium quality, and I had spent a significant amount of money and time creating these gifts. Though they didn't know it, each set would have
I see. This is what opened your eyes to them. Because obviously, some people believe that people would be, they would eventually come around. And the only way to open their eyes is when that person does finally does something, you, something inside of you, I would say, kind of, you either, if you want to say it this way, you break, or if you want to say it another way, everything clicks in your head. Everything just falls into place. So either way, you could look at it.
retailed for well over $200. When it came time to open presents, Vanessa went first. She had bought everyone designer items,
Oh,
an
200?
expensive handbag
Okay.
for her mother, a branded wallet for her father, and cashmere sweaters for Mark and me. Her gifts were met with effusive praise. "Oh, you're so generous," her mother exclaimed. "You always know exactly what we want," her father added. Then it was my turn to distribute my gifts. As they unwrapped the carefully packaged sets, I noticed the barely concealed looks of disappointment. Mark's mother picked up one of the facial serums and examined it with thinly veiled disdain. "Oh, homemade stuff again," she said with a forced smile. "How economical of you."
Some people are stupid and ungrateful. Like, my God. Like, holy shit. Just because somebody homemade it doesn't mean it's not good. Like, seriously. I mean, especially if it's a hobby. Most hobbies become an obsession. And when you obsess over something, you want to do it correctly. I wouldn't say everyone doesn't do that. But most people, if they have a hobby and they really enjoy their hobby, it would be obsession to them and they want to make it 100% correct. They want to make it as perfect as possible, as humanly perfectly as possible. I would say it that way.
Mark's father was even less subtle. "Well, I suppose it's the thought that counts," he said with a chuckle, setting the package aside without examining the contents. Vanessa snickered and whispered something to her husband that made him laugh. The final blow came when Mark's mother said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "It must be nice to save so much money on Christmas shopping by making things instead of buying proper gifts."
Are you stupid? Are you are you dumb? You know how much money it costs to make homemade products? Do they not realize? I understand, some people don't think. Like they don't think properly. But I don't know what is it in. I don't know what is it. I'm assuming it's all in a glass bottle. Like the serums are probably in a glass bottle. Glass is expensive, sorta. It's probably designed as well, has your label on it or whatever. It's perfectly designed for the whatever use case it is. If it's a small bottle, then it's designed for the small bottle. It's a custom made. I also was trying to think of. It's a custom made bottle for whatever, and then the skincare product or whatever for the mother-in-law. This is not cheap. Like, this is expensive. I don't understand how you think it's cheap. Maybe it has something to do with you see the person and they think it as a hobby, but in your mind, somebody that does it professionally is getting paid to do it, so they must be better, I guess. I don't know.
Mark was furious, but I squeezed his hand to keep him from saying something he'd regret. I smiled through the rest of the evening, though the sting of their reaction stayed with me long after we drove home. What Mark's family didn't know, what I hadn't told them because I didn't want to seem like I was bragging, was that my little hobby had transformed dramatically over the past 2 years. My products had caught the attention of a luxury spa director who had started ordering.
I don't know why that would change anything. Like seriously, how does you being a luxury whatever turn into them? Oh, never mind. I actually want it. Yada yada yada. No, that makes no sense. You said you didn't like it. You never even looked at it. You never used it. It just doesn't make any sense. Stop backtracking. My God. Some people backtrack way too much.
Wholesale supplies. This led to connections with high-end boutiques, and eventually, my brand, Floretta Naturals, began appearing in upscale stores across the country. 6 months before that Christmas, I had moved operations from our spare bedroom to a small manufacturing facility. I had hired 3 employees. My products were now being sold in 27 stores nationwide and had been featured in several beauty blogs. I was negotiating with a major national chain of luxury department stores for a special holiday collection. I hadn't told Mark's family about these developments, partly because they never showed genuine interest in my work, and partly because Mark and I had agreed to live modestly and reinvest the growing profits back into the business. We drove the same cars, lived in the same starter home, and didn't flaunt our increasingly
That's a good idea. I actually like that. I like the idea, honestly. That's an extremely good idea. A lot of people with if they have this same opportunity, they wouldn't really care if people know or not. And depending on the person, they would feel good about it.
comfortable financial situation. 3 months after that uncomfortable Christmas, Floretta Naturals was featured in a major beauty magazine as one of the top emerging luxury skincare brands. The article included a full-page photo of me in my workshop and detailed the meticulous process behind my handcrafted products, now selling for premium prices in high-end stores. The magazine hit newsstands nationwide, including the upscale mall where my mother-in-law and Vanessa frequently shopped. I was working in my office when Mark called me, barely containing his laughter. His mother had called him in a state of shock. Apparently, she and Vanessa had been shopping when they passed a luxury beauty boutique with a large display featuring Floretta Naturals. Recognizing my face on the promotional materials, they went inside and discovered my little hobby products retailing for $45 to $120 each. The saleswoman had gushed about the brand, explaining to them that these were highly sought-after artisanal products with waiting lists for certain items. To make matters even more awkward for them, the saleswoman had just finished reading the magazine article and recognized my last name when they mentioned they were related to me. "You must be so proud to be connected to such an innovative entrepreneur," she had exclaimed, leaving them fumbling for a response. The very next day, the calls began. First from my mother-in-law, then from Vanessa, and finally even from my father-in-law.
I wonder if they're gonna try to turn it around on her. Like seriously, these type of people always do that. They try to turn it around. Uh, I mean, I'm waiting for it.
Suddenly, everyone was interested in my creative talents and entrepreneurial spirit. My mother-in-law mentioned that she'd been using the facial products I'd given her for Christmas and had noticed remarkable improvements in her skin. Vanessa claimed the bath products were divine and asked if I could make more for her. The most direct request came from my mother-in-law a week later. She called to ask if I could provide products for her upcoming charity event, luxury gift bags for the attendees. When I quoted her my standard wholesale prices, she was aghast. "But we're family. I thought you just made these in your kitchen." I explained politely that Floretta Naturals was
Huh? Made them in your kitchen? How would you think being a multi-million or billion dollar company would survive in just a kitchen? For that amount of orders, that's not even humanly possible to stay in a kitchen. My God, you need to make, if you want to stay in a kitchen, you need to somehow create, like, let me think. In a day, you probably somehow need to create around, and this is a low ball number, you probably need to create around 1,000 samples, 1,000 orders a day. And I don't even know if that's possible in a kitchen.
Now a proper business with employees, overhead costs, and a growing reputation for quality that I needed to maintain. I offered her a family discount, but emphasized that I couldn't give away products that customers were paying premium prices for. Yesterday marked the pinnacle of this saga. I received a call from my mother-in-law practically begging for products for her annual spa weekend with her friends. Apparently, one of her friends had received Floretta products as a gift and had been raving about them. Now my mother-in-law was eager to show off her connection to the brand. After discussing it with Mark, I decided to send a generous gift basket to his parents' home. I included full-sized versions of every product I had given them for Christmas, plus some of our newest items. I packaged everything beautifully in our signature gift wrapping that customers pay extra for. And tucked inside was a handwritten note alongside copies of the latest magazines featuring Floretta Naturals, including the newest one with me on the cover. The note simply read, "I thought you might enjoy more of my homemade stuff. These are identical to the Christmas gifts you received last year. The only difference is that now you know their true value." Mark delivered the basket personally and reported that his parents seemed genuinely embarrassed. His mother tried to explain that she had always appreciated my gifts but just hadn't realized how professional they were.
Right, right. This is what I'm talking backtracking. She's trying to backtrack.
His father awkwardly mentioned that he'd been using the shaving soap all along and found it quite good. This morning, my mother-in-law called to thank me for the basket. For the first time, she asked detailed questions about how I developed my formulations and built my business. There was a new tone of respect in her voice. She even invited me to speak about entrepreneurship at her women's club next month. I agreed, but more importantly, I feel vindicated. Not because my in-laws finally respect me now that my products have status and monetary value, but because I remained true to myself throughout their
I mean, that's the only reason they respect you, though. That's the main reason. It's because you have monetary value. That's it. Seriously, that's kind of stupid and lame and pathetic. Like, seriously, if you finally only see somebody as worthy of your respect after them making a certain amount of money, you really need to look at yourself. And even if you look at yourself and you see nothing wrong, then you have a very skewed perspective of reality.
dismissal and subsequent reversal. I never stopped creating with authenticity and care, whether my audience appreciated it or not. The Christmas gifts I gave were never cheap, they were valuable in ways my in-laws couldn't recognize at the time. Sometimes the true worth of what we create isn't acknowledged until someone else puts a price tag on it. But I know that the real value was there all along, in every careful batch I mixed and every thoughtful formulation I developed. Next Christmas, I already know what I'm bringing to the family gathering, the same heartfelt, handcrafted gifts I've always made, but perhaps with our new luxury packaging.
Really? Shit. I mean, at least she's fine with it, I guess. I guess she doesn't really it doesn't really bother her that much that now they know about it. Well, I mean, it might bother her, or them, because it would bother a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people would be bothered that the only reason they're talking to you now is because they found out you are basically a CEO, a founder of a company that is worth a lot of money. A lot of people would be bothered by that. I mean, shit. Why is there a big giant Uber Eats? Dang. Wait, no, what? I meant to. Hold up. Shit. Okay, there you go. My in-laws publicly ridiculed my cheap homemade Christmas gift while praising my sister-in-laws. And that was Dead Spies Reddit story react. Uh, Hope you have a nice day, good evening, a nice night, and a good morning. Okay, bye.